Should we toast? Should we toast to it? Let's do
Micah, thank you so much, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Happy Father's Day to you, by the way.
Thank you. I was so busy because the fights were that Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was out there till like midnight gathering stuff. And I'm like, I wake up and then I go, all right, what am I going to do today? This and that, just thinking, having some coffee. And then my son goes, Happy Father's Day. And I'm like this, what? He goes, it's Father's Day. And he looks at my parents and they're like, and they look at him and they go, it's Father's Day. And he goes, like, just like the Spider-Man meme, like, who do I trust?
Yeah.
And I'm like, is it? I had no idea.
No, it's cute, man.
It's something, it's different. Okay, well, gosh darn it. I can't do that. Okay, we're back. And you would know, like, you're a professional, and I'm glad you're here. Because I got questions.
Let's go.
But no, they're just set to not run continuously. They're just
Yeah.
not built that way. I did not know that. So then I had these, and I remember I did the beginning in like November-ish was when I kind of like really got into the groove.
Yeah.
And I recorded a whole thing with the person still here. And they were like, oh, cool, that felt great. And I'm like, it was cool, right? And I go and I look. It hasn't changed.
Oh, dude. I did the exact same thing whenever I like first started getting into like video and photography stuff. You get so excited and just kind of like wrapped up in the idea of everything that you don't fully dive into like exactly what you need. And part of it is just learning as you go too. I mean, there's shit you got to find out by yourself.
Dude, that's the thing too. And we'll get back to that because you are fantastic. I've seen the work.
Appreciate you.
I was like, oh man, I'm going to use this. I'm going to take this, maybe use it in the thumbnail. And I'm like, you know what? I bet we could do something and I could actually he could teach me some stuff.
Yeah.
And that's how I found out about you was through Blake and then through Josh.
My boys, yes, sir.
And, you know, they did Rooted with them. So you were the Jamie, right, for the Joe Rogan back there?
Correct, yep.
Hey, I'm finding out now, as I've been doing it myself this whole time and finally had my sister doing it. It's really nice to have that.
Yeah, it's nice. It's easier. A lot easier.
Well, and it really cut down on time. But, you know, unfortunately, I can't hire. Apparently, I can. I can hire Adobe to do it.
Yeah.
But, like, AI isn't smart enough to switch it yet. So I can't. I need someone here, which is another layer of payment, being consistently here. I mean, I'm pumping out 3 episodes a week.
And that's just the grind, my friend.
I know.
That's just what it is. You'll get somebody eventually.
Oh, yeah. They'll be like, hey, I really want to be involved. And I'm like, great, because I can't pay you yet. You know?
Yep.
And it's just, that's something else when you're starting something from the ground.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
You're like, I need you to be just as compassionate about this as me.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not dedicated, then I'm just, paying you to, like, do nothing? Like, that's not going to fly.
That's exactly how I was. Like, jumping into it, I just knew that I was going to have to work for free for a little bit, and there's no way that I was just going to make money off rip. Just, you got to have proof of concept, and you got to have proof that you can actually do it. So that's just part of it, yeah.
I don't know if it's the red beards that we have in common, and we're just so in sync. Cause,
yes, sir.
I knew straight up. I saw the work after Blake and Josh came in. Then I heard Ray talk about you. Mm-hmm. And then I'm like, you know what? I do need this guy in here, like, now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, when are you free? Immediately. Just because there's something, I don't know if it's, I love to make things, create something from nothing, right? And a video camera does nothing if you don't know how to use it. Mm-hmm. But then we were filming all throughout Synergy for 7, and I'm putting all this stuff together, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, I got good shit. Like, I made, like, it was fun to not only be there, but then to share how fun it was and what you've created from just like kind of people would just kind of shrug off like, oh, it's a fight. And you're like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Let me show you what it is.
No, it's cool, man, for sure.
And so is that what got you in?
What's that?
This whole video, photography, like what pushed you into that route?
Basically, I was in Springfield going to college for media production, learning videography, photography, that sort of thing. Yep. Ozarks Technical Community College is where I went to school.
Ooh, nice.
And I was also taking kickboxing classes at Springfield Fight Club at the time.
No shit.
Yeah, so I started kind of with that, and then I've always been a big like sports fan, and I just kind of fell in love. You know, you get it because you're a big MMA fan or just martial arts in general. There's something kind of romantic about it, where it's like it's very primal and it's very intense. So it's very cool. It's a very cool experience. And eventually, I was just like, you know what? I want to start filming sports. I want to start doing photography. And you know, I just reached out to my coach and I was like, hey man, is there any way that I could just like, come to a couple classes with my camera and start taking pictures or taking videos, and you can, post it on your page, and I'll create my own page, and we'll just kind of start putting out content that way. And he cut me a pretty sweet deal. He basically comped my membership fee if I would just do videography and photography. So it was kind of like a trade-off situation. So it was
perfect.
It was a perfect startup for me because I love training, but I also was just getting experience with the camera while also helping them out. So it was just a win-win situation.
That is the best deal.
Yeah,
it's the best.
It was.
Well, and I'm finding out, like, I don't know, it's perfect because the people, like, when I find a Ray and I find, like, these fighters like Lucas and some of these guys who just have, like they're animals, but they're also the kindest, most giving people in the world. And, when you have people like that, they also gather people like that. And so I'm like, yeah, you got to give stuff for free. And so my whole idea was like, you know what? I'm going to start the production business. I'm going to do the proof of concept. This is like my 4th podcast.
And it's awesome. You're doing great.
Like, oh, thank you. Thank you. But like the other 3 failed, like in different ways. Like one was too much, the job I had before, I was editing and then, oh no, I can't. I don't have enough time to even put it out consistently. So why do it? And I'm like, okay, fine. Then the second time I was just using Adobe Rush, right? One camera, really simple. And I go, I like this. Click, drag, very simple.
Yep, easy.
Then I opened Adobe Premiere. I kid you not. This is the first thing I said. I go, oh, they're using Adobe Premiere Pro. I go, they have the stuff, right? That looks easy, all the windows, whatnot. But, they probably know what's going on. And I open it, and I see it for the first time like that. Nothing in it, nothing loaded. It just has all these boxes and all this shit on it. And I go, yeah, fuck that.
Yep.
That's the first thing I said, and I closed it. And then I crashed a computer with Adobe Rush over and over and over.
Adobe's known for that, unfortunately. They'll crash your shit for sure.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, well, I guess I have to learn this. So I did it incrementally. Then I had the second one, which was, it just wasn't. I had someone who wanted to do different material than like authentic conversation, which is what this is for. And he's like, I think we should do conspiracy stuff. And I go, what are you talking about? I was like, no, just have a conversation. And then the next one, I had someone who just couldn't be consistently there.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, it's once a week for like an hour and a half. Just be here.
And that was that's another hard part is finding like-minded people like yourself to be willing to grind with you.
Yeah.
So that's like why Rooted was so cool, because we had me willing to grind, Josh definitely willing to grind, Blake willing to grind, and, kind of all 3 working collectively, communicating on a weekly basis, and really just like committing ourselves to showing up and doing it. Because actually, it's with a lot of things, whatever you want to do, basically, the hardest part is just getting out of your seat and doing it. You literally just have to dive in and do it, because there's no way you're going to learn, what you need to do or the mistakes that are made and what you need to correct unless you just actually dive in and do it. So like you saying that you've done those few podcasts where you see mistakes every time, well, you're going to correct those every time. Yeah. And then it's just going to be something that you remember and nobody else has remembered. And then you're just consistently putting out great product. Yeah.
And that's where you get this. But I also didn't get this. I love the fact that you trained too.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Because I think that really built the mentality to do that. You know what I mean? Like the days where you're like, I don't want to go to the gym right now. You're like, it's a bad day. Or like, I don't have any energy. And then you've somehow forced yourself to go. Yeah. And then I'm like, that was the best class. Dude. I feel like I'm on top of the world.
Exhilarating. Because you overcome something. It's like, it's the little battles every day that you win. It's like that add up to the ultimate goal. Like, for example, showing up to the gym. You don't want to do it. You're going to get hit in the face. It's going to hurt. You're going to sweat a lot, and you're probably going to want to pass out at some point. But once you get to the end of it, and it's you in a room full of people doing the same thing, that's where that like camaraderie comes from. And that's just it's like, it's hard to explain. You can't really put it into words unless you felt it, but it's like one of the greatest things.
It's the best thing I've ever found in my life.
Yeah. And it's like a lot of things it translates to life a lot, because the one thing my coach always said in Springfield, Nate Stemberski, shout out to him. He's helped me with a lot of things. And if you ever get a chance to meet him at Synergy or anything like that, definitely do, because he's a hell of a guy.
Yeah, hell yeah, I will.
But he always just kind of instilled, leave your ego at the door first and foremost, and don't be afraid to get out of your comfort zone, because once you're out of your comfort zone, that's when you find fear, and fear turns into bravery, and that's where you get where you're at today.
That's beautiful. Yeah, like that's like a, it's literally like Trey's the samurai. You know what I mean? Like he was like, he wears the necklace. He's like I think I'm going to do the swords over here.
What an intense guy, right?
Yeah, I met him at Synergy, and I haven't felt this before. And it's not an insult, because Trey is the best dude ever.
Mm-hmm.
But I haven't been in the gym for a while because of, this and time. And, at one point I was like, I'm going to fight, right?
Yeah.
And when I went there, it was the little battles that I was loving more than the ability to get in a cage and then do this with someone.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, it's me. Like, it's what I feel like I want to do. And I love training, and I love going there. And I've been to different gyms all around. And, I sat down next to him in the backstage, and I was like, I see you blasting the Nipsey Hussle still.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, still? And, like, intense as shit. And I go, yeah, I'm glad that you're, just, keeping it consistent. I haven't seen you for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Like, good to see you, Trey. And I, like, give him one of these. And he goes, yeah. And, like, just immediately switch gears.
Just kind of testing you a little bit.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, thank God. I thought I was going to die backstage at Synergy 7.
There's like
by my own coach.
Every time I think of Trey Ogden, there's a quote that's very famous. It's good to be a warrior in a garden and not a gardener in a war. And that's Trey Ogden to a fucking T.
Oh, my gosh. Is it not?
Yeah.
And I'm like, there's moments in podcasting, like when I have people, that it's just like, I feel like I know you. Mm-hmm. I'm glad that you're here. Like, I really feel like it's
dope, man.
thing.
Sure.
Like,
it's the community aspect of it. We're in the MMA community together, so we get it. It's just like, we just get it.
Well, in Rooted, I told Josh and I told Blake, I was like, hey, if you guys need a spot, so like this half of the studio isn't being used, and so, I'm like, I'm gonna clear it out, make a second area, and then have this like little center piece, and then move back and forth, so that way I can produce content for other people, and then also do my own, which is why this whole thing was here to begin with in the first place. Is I wanted to just like back to the round of like giving back.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't care if there's talent. Like, I just want to be around it, be a part of it, do something with services that I've learned over hard work with Adobe that gave me so much headache, and just do something that nice, give back. And then it's like, I mean, I had a Cake City podcast. They came in, they did a show here, and it was their 100th episode. And I sat back there for 4 hours, and I loved every second of it. I'm laughing. I used the screen. They did, like, bits and clips and showed they do, like, shoes, like, sneaker releases. Huge sneakerheads. And if you get a chance, I produced it, so I'll go check them out. And, man, I'm back there dying, and they're like, oh, we even got the white boy laughing. I'm like, and I'm just sitting there dying.
Yeah.
And, they were super, super... like respectful. They're like, thank you so much for doing this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you guys want to do it consistently? And they were like, they were like, what, for free? Like, they said at a discount price. And I go, no, I just want to be involved with what you guys got going on, because you guys are great. I had a great time, and I want to give back, and with no need for return. The look is the same. They're like, that doesn't happen out in the world.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm not here for a short time. I'm here for a long time. And I'm building something. It's legacy, but it's also not mine. Yeah. It'll be the things I've learned that get given to my kiddo.
Yeah, you're getting paid in experience and like networking, and not so much the money aspect of it, because that'll come later on if you really are, sticking to your grind and getting to where you're gonna get at. That'll just happen. But
you know what? I think we just became best friends.
Yeah,
it's only been 14 minutes. I just met you today.
Let's go.
But yeah, that's really hard to understand for people. And I was watching, do you know Jordan Peterson? Mm-hmm. So him and Joe Rogan did an episode.
Yeah. A few of them, yeah.
Yeah, they did a new one.
Oh, I haven't seen the most recent one now.
Oh my gosh, he's like, it's literally they're coming after him, and I'm listening to it, and have like 40 minutes left of it, but just people like that. So in order to switch my thinking from like me and then giving back, it was like, it was in there, but I also had to, do all the things that he had taught and other people had taught, which is like cut the people out that don't need to be involved in your life, who, bring you away from that spirit and away from the purpose that you feel that you're going to go pursue, and, and do things authentically. And I'm like, what's something that I could do that's authentic? I'm like, this.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything that I've done other than training. So I was like, can I merge both?
Yeah.
I was like, I can. Because also the dudes that I have in here, most of them, I either meet them for the first time, or I've been hit in the face by them, choked out by them, and I'm going to say it a lot because I think it's funny. And I don't think he knows that it's even happening, but farted on by like Nick.
Ah, wonderful.
Nick Meck, that's good.
That's
Gets me in trouble.
stuff.
Gets me in trouble with Trey. Yeah. And I'm like, it wasn't me. He did it.
Yeah.
And he's like,
what are you gonna do? Tell him it wasn't him?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Then he's gonna be like, hey, remember how you told on me? I'm gonna hurt you. This
time to spike you on your head.
Yeah. But no, it's what Ozark Technical.
Yeah, OTC.
OTC
for short. Yeah.
Let's get back to how I asked Josh and Blake. How did you find MMA? Did you watch it on TV?
Oh yeah, so I've been an MMA fan
you had
for
cool
a long.
Parents?
Yeah, I had some really cool parents. I've been an MMA fan for a long time, probably like early 2000s. I think the first fight I ever remember watching, I was in like, I don't know, maybe I'm too young to watch it. I don't know at the point, but
Wait,
it was
now?
like no back then. Back then I may have been too young to watch it, but it was Quentin Rampage Jackson versus Chuck Liddell.
Oh.
And it was like
it
was like 2006, I think.
Oh man.
And then I started to learn about guys like GSP and Anderson Silva, and then they're going on these crazy title runs. And then John Jones comes up, and then it's just like a never-ending love affair with the game at that point. I'm just like watching it constantly.
Yeah.
So like looking back on it, it's actually pretty cool because I've gotten to see like in real time a lot of like the best ever do it on TV and stuff, and it's just like those are the type of things that motivate you. It's like seeing somebody break through or seeing somebody on a title run like that.
Yeah.
Even though I couldn't personally do that, I can kind of relate that mentality or that grind, that lifestyle to my own life.
Yeah.
So that's what's inspiring. That's what I love about it.
It's like I said, and I can't. It's something that you can talk about it, but unless you're around them, then you get it. Mm-hmm. But it's like, it's very superficial outside like this door, so like I wanted to make sure that like the setup's cool, but it also feels like we're in my living room. So like I can have a real conversation with you. And so like I just had this thing where it wasn't hard to be open. I'm like, hey, this is me, and like just let it all go. And I remember I didn't understand it like growing up. So like whether it was like emotionally, I was like really in tune with like I could be with the guys and like be a guy, or I could like girls night, girl talk, and they're like, oh my gosh, you're such a good communicator. And then I remember when I would do both, I'd be like talking to my buddy or whatever, his girlfriend comes up, Chase, oh my gosh, what are you doing? And like gives you that like hug, that really warm hug, and I'm like, ooh,
this is nice.
And then I turn, and my buddy's just fucking pissed. And I'm talking, and I'm like, and that's how I was like, okay, I can do this well, but I now have to figure out how to fight, because I'm gonna get in trouble. Yeah. And it was just, I think that's where a lot of the insecurity from like having to hide some of that stuff came out, and then I walked in, met all the dudes there and Trey, and they were like, a good coach. Yeah, absolutely. Will be like, you say you want to fight. This is what I assumed Trey. He said he'd come in, but he's so busy. Yeah. And so, but I want to have this talk with him in here and just be as open as possible. Because I was in a bad place when I walked in here, and like you could probably read it and be like, he says he wants to fight, but I think there's like this shell of something else going on. If we break through that, have him consistently be here. Yeah. Let's see if it's still there type deal. And I mean, he did that. And I was like, I couldn't be more grateful to have this different idea, mindset, and start like just committing to things that would put off other people. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. I like seek out hard shit now. Yeah. No, that's I think it's because I'm kind of the same way. It's like whenever you experience failure and then you regroup and then go again, you start to kind of crave failure because you realize what's on the other side of it a little bit. Like you know that there's something to benefit from it. So it's not like you want to fail, but you're okay with failing because you know that if you think about it the right way and handle it the right way, there's something greater on the other side of it. Right. So that's kind of what I learned from my years doing kickboxing and stuff, is like
if you just keep showing up, you just keep putting in the work, eventually you're going to break through and something's, you're going to get better and you're going to get better. You're not going to get your ass kicked as much.
Yeah, well.
Well, you will, but not as much. Just not as much.
Yeah. What is it? It's like you may, like, people will notice. I'm making this up on the spot because I thought this was a good analogy in my brain. We'll see if it flies. But it's like you look at a beach. Mm-hmm. There's a shit ton of sand, right? But it doesn't mean that, like, you can have your own beach if you, like, take a little bit.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, look at mine. And you're like, whoa. But people don't notice until it's, like, all done.
Yeah.
Or, like, halfway done. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't. Mm-hmm. This wasn't a thing until, like, a month ago.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't, which is still super quick. I'm not complaining at all.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that, like, I was willing to pay for the place, limit things, split up bank account stuff, make sure that everything was taken care of so that when opportunity arose, I could jump on it.
Yeah.
And then when it happened, I was like, oh, cool. I did the dedication, hard work, consistency, and then that's what you get.
Yeah. It's kind of just like you just keep preparing yourself for the moment where you get the opportunity.
Yeah.
And then when the opportunity meets the preparation, that's when you'll get successful. And that's just.
Did you make that up?
Nipsey Hussle made that up, really, but
that's
just kind of something that I remember though all the time. It's just like
Trey would like you.
Yeah. Well, it's just like it's just always preparing yourself for the time that you do get the opportunity. So stay ready, so you don't have to get ready type beat.
Do you do any of the fight photography?
Oh yeah,
Still now?
Yeah. I do all the social media for FAC whenever FAC is on. So I'll run I'll run their Instagram page and their Facebook page. Josh actually helps me out with that quite a bit. And then, when I can, it's hard with Synergy because they travel so much. Yeah. FAC is always in Kansas City and I live in Kansas City, so it's easy. But, I can't always go to Pittsburgh or Springfield all the time. So I try to catch the ones in KC all the times that I can and then travel when I can. Yeah. But whenever I do Synergy, I usually just do like their Facebook stuff. So I'll just do like the fight results and that sort of thing. Oh, no, it's dope. Yeah, because you get to sit cage side.
Yeah.
And you just kind of get to see, like, from start to finish, like I see the guys when they show up. I see the guys when they're warming up. I see the guys when they feel like, puking in the back out of pure nerves. Mm-hmm. The moment before they walk through the curtain is an insane, kind of feeling because I'm trying to, like, put myself in their shoes. And I'm like, fuck, dude, that's insane that all these people. Insane. You're about to go get in a fist fight in your underwear in front of people. Yeah. And it's just like a fucking, it's a crazy thing I could imagine. But then, you see after a fight, you see that kind of stress and anxiety get relieved a little bit. They don't carry so much weight on their shoulders, and they can kind of just fucking relax for a second. Like, okay, it's over. Like, even win or lose sometimes, you see guys that lose sometimes and they look relieved just because it's finally over. Like that's but until the next one.
Yeah, obviously. And then I've had people who they've taken a loss, like a recent one. I get to talk to them, and they're like, "Yeah, it really sucks. It's the worst. It's the highest of highs, the lowest of lows. Mm-hmm. But he goes, I think it might have been, no, I don't want to misquote, but it was the same thing. It's like, even though I lost, it's still like, I wish there was a fight tomorrow. Yeah. Because
it's like, you just want to get it back. You want to prove that you are who you think you are at the end of the day. Yeah. You just want to go out there and prove that you can do it. And, it didn't go your way this time, but you're going to, like I said, you're going to build over that. And then next time you go out, hopefully you'll get it done.
Yeah. I was, and on Rooted, I want to get back to that. And then we have the MoneyBall Media.
Yes, sir.
Is yours, right? Mm-hmm. Let's do MoneyBall Media's quick. How'd you come up with the MoneyBall Media?
MoneyBall Media. So I wanted to make just a media page whenever I was starting doing photography and stuff. Yeah. But it's so hard to come up with a name. I'm sure it took you forever to come up with your name. It's just like, because you're basically just branding yourself. Like, how do you want to be seen? Yeah. And I was just like, you ask your buddies, like, what the fuck do I name my shit? Like, I don't know what to name it. And there was like a nickname I had in high school. I played quarterback for the football team, so everybody would call me Moneyball because it's just like I wasn't really that great. It was just like something funny, like Moneyball, like
Moneyball's going in.
Yeah, like something like that, And
go Moneyball.
Yeah, exactly, something just like that. So and I was like, fuck it, dude. Like that fits me. Like, it's been my nickname for a while. Like, it kind of flows. It's an alliteration, so I'll just fucking throw it out there. And that's just kind of how that came to be, the name at least. And then you just slowly, you start going to classes and take pictures and video. You start pumping shit out. Mm-hmm. People start liking it. People start following you. Yeah. And then you just keep doing it. It's just a rinse and repeat kind of thing.
Yeah, it's not I like how you also said it's not quick either.
No, it's not.
Like if you want true organic, and the thing is, it's like I'm trying to, because my sister's 4 years behind me, and so she's 22, 23.
Yeah.
And now she's like trying to do this thing where she's trying to figure it out. Like, what am I gonna do? I just graduated from college. I got a 4-year in like biochemistry and like something else. She's like, she has a stuff going on that she has a vision for, but then there's stuff that always gets in the way in the middle.
Oh yeah.
And I remember just sitting with her, and she's been in here a couple times, and we just kind of go through it. We talk.
Have you ever had her on the podcast?
Yeah, she's been here twice.
Dope. That's what's up.
And she's really big on, the psychology and the mind, and I think she's gearing towards doing a master's and then doing like therapy.
Yep.
Therapist. And we can sit here and talk for 2-3 hours about like ourselves. So like for me, I can tell right now, I took my ADHD meds. I took them a little later, or a little earlier, because I had to wake up early for work. And now I'm like just kind of dialing down. Yeah. And so things are kind of going nuts. And we talk about that a lot and how we got there. And most of it was honestly the easiest thing is just to shut everybody else up. Yeah. Just shut them out, and then figure out what you want to do. Like if it's, and then do it all the way. Don't. This it's kind of cliche, but you can't lose if you don't quit. Yeah. I mean, and I just did that every day.
You're a fighter.
A fighter.
A fighter.
Oh wow, you're good. This is true.
This is Irish. True. It's the Irish in me.
Yeah,
it's a true Irish beard. Irish.
Yeah, I wish I didn't shave mine. I can match you. And so it's just really cool to like see that from you, just from MoneyBall and from encounters with you. Yeah. And to like talk to you and like. Yeah, totally 100% true. Like, if there's an authentic human being doing something that, I can't lose if I don't quit, this idea of like keep moving forward no matter what, then, things that used to be excuses or barricades are like, oh, shoot, well, I'll just go around. Yeah. Like, it doesn't seem like a big deal.
You start to kind of look back at yourself, too, like, damn, I was such a bitch. Like,
you do that, too?
Why would I let that get in the way of what I'm trying to do? Like, why would I use that as an excuse? Like, it wasn't really that hard to get up that day and go do it. Why the fuck didn't I go up and do it? Yeah. Yeah, I definitely feel that.
I think we're actually brothers. I think that we were separated at birth. I think.
Probably not, but but I get it. I get what you're saying.
I said probably not. That's okay. You just have your delusion.
That's fine. That's fine. We can go there.
But I really can't like stress that enough. And I mean, if I can't do it, how do I put it? If it's not up to par with a bunch of people, right? Like if it's not there yet, but I'm still saying the same thing, eventually it'll be that you'll see it.
Yep. You know what I mean? I did the same thing, dude. Are you talking about just like comparing your work to other people's work, dude? I would do the exact same thing. I'd follow all these people that I knew were photographers for the UFC or worked at other gyms around the country, and then I'd see the shit they put out. I'm like, fuck, that's so dope. Like, why can't I get my shit to look like that? And I still kind of do that. It's just like, but that's just you wanting to evolve and wanting to have higher standards for yourself. Yeah. And that's really all it is at the end of the day.
I'm glad you said that because that's how I felt about your work.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, I was like, I don't know, it's not really ready for him yet, you know?
Well, I had the advantage of going to school though. I learned about cameras and editing way before I even started. Yeah. Kind of doing that. So I kind of had that advantage off the start. So it just kind of meshed with my life and what I was doing. So that's just kind of how it happened.
Well, and it doesn't matter how you get there. Like I learned from literally YouTube and 3 years worth of trying to get it right and messing it up and losing things and not hitting this button or doing that with equipment, and none of it's cheap, by the way. so I do okay, right? And so I was like, you know what? If I really want it, I have to move in with my parents again. So it's like I was telling my sister again, like, okay, so now she had the same idea. Well, I do want to save for this and save for that. So this summer, and she made a whole plan. And she goes, it is expensive to live in the city. And she was like on the 3rd floor looking out to the city. Like, love this
hella
place.
Nice.
And I'm like, yeah, but you got no cash left. Excuse me. And
I think we just did the same shit at the same time. I like almost burped.
You almost burped?
Yeah, I did. But
I got stuck. And I was like, she was like, I feel like I'm going backwards. I'm like, it's not going backwards. if
you're going too fast.
Yeah.
You're going too fast.
And also, it's like for me, it was like it's only backwards if you look at it from like a societal point of view.
Mm-hmm.
What? You're 26? You're almost 27. You don't live you live with your parents? I'm like, yeah, but like I wanted this.
Mm-hmm.
So like if I needed new equipment and I was like, I need it tomorrow, I can leave.
Yeah.
Buy it. Right? I bought a car that was like a little 4-cylinder Saturn I could pay off. I was like, I saved $1,500. Here you go. And
Wonderful.
It's like, done. No AC or nothing, so it's great today.
Mm-hmm. When it's 98 degrees outside.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's awesome.
But like I said, it's those little sacrifices.
Uh-huh.
And then
I'm a firm believer of like, for me, I guess it just kind of works for me. This is my like philosophy on it. But like, if you kind of put all your chips on the table and kind of put everything into it, it kind of forces you to do it because you don't have any, because all your eggs are in one basket, so to say. It kind of just forces you to, be proactively trying to grind towards what you want.
Yeah. I'm trying to think who said it. But it was like, if someone kidnapped you, locked you in like a dungeon and said, you need to make 10 grand this month.
I'd say I'm locked in a fucking dungeon. What do you think?
Right. You have a computer, right?
Yeah.
You have a computer. No, it was some crazy scenario, but it's like, I bet you'd figure out how to make 10 grand that month to get out of the dungeon.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing. Put all chips in the basket. And then that was what happened here. Like I had a plan with 2 other people. Mm-hmm. One of them was when we started this, that was the 3rd podcast, was we did a couple, right? We lost one file, figuring it out. And then the next week we tried again. And then after that, I'm like, this is really good. And we had it was being edited and then never came back.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. And then the person who was helping had an extreme like family crisis and then moved out of Kansas and went to Texas.
Yeah, that's wild.
So within the same week of signing it, being here and being like, okay. And I go, thank God I planned that I could do it by myself. Mm-hmm. And so, it's just that I didn't want it to happen. Yeah. Right? I had everything budgeted for 3 people to do this, marketing, this, have that. Maybe we could design some of this, get involved in that. I'm already looking at all the stuff I'm doing now. Mm. And so it didn't change anything. Yeah. Because people would have been like, well, I would have just gotten out of the lease. And I'm like, you're not seeing what I'm seeing. Yeah. There's bigger stuff happening.
They want it quick. They want it to happen now. If it's not happening now, then I'm out the door kind of thing. Yeah, it sucks.
And I'm not going to lie to you. That's the most annoying part about something like this was that once, like the last 3 episodes, I've had people that, like, oh, my gosh, like, talking about, and I'm not even famous. Like, it's not like it's a big deal. Yeah. It's just, like, it looks really good. Yeah. Right? It sounds great. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I spend a lot of time doing it. So then you feel the authentic part of it. Yeah. And they want to attach it to that because they're not authentic. Yeah. And I'm like,
they kind of want to ride your wave.
Yeah.
It comes in waves, and they want to ride that.
Ride the wave?
Good. It's not good.
I think you just designed a shirt for me.
Can't let them do it, man.
Well, and that's where I came up with that name. Mm-hmm. Like MoneyBall was your thing. Authentic. I'm like, I don't know. I said this out loud to someone at my old job. I was like, I don't know. I feel like life, it's waves. I'm like, it comes and goes. And he goes, well, like it comes in waves? And I go, podcast, it comes in waves. I go, that's perfect. I don't know any other one that has that. Mm-hmm.
It's interesting. Whenever you first followed me, I looked at your page and I was like, I knew that it was like legitimate because it had the you had the logo, you had like the name, you had like the channel and all that stuff, and I was like, oh, that's fucking dope. I was like, cool. There's like
balls to the wall.
Yeah, there's more people out here doing the same shit type thing. So yeah, it's dope.
So is it just you that does the pictures? Like when you go out for MoneyBall, it's just you with one camera.
Yep, just me. Just me.
That it's because it's just me in here too. And
I'll have like you talked to Josh a little bit about it. Like we would always go to the gym together, so we'd kind of be in there like making those connections together, and he'd be like, oh look, there's Onama's scrapping with so and so, go get some of that, or
his fight's coming up.
Yeah, this weekend. I'm fucking pumped for it.
Man,
really pumped.
Who's he fighting?
Gabriel Santos.
Yes.
Gabriel Santos. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it sucks, dude. I wanted him to win his last fight so bad because I look at the position they put Nate Landwehr in after the Onama fight, and I'm like, fuck, dude, he could have been fighting Danny Ige for like a top 15 spot.
Yeah, I know.
But he'll get there regardless. I mean, he's a fucking scrapper.
He's an animal.
Yeah, and that's part of the thing, too, is just like I think he just like gassed out in his last fight, and I'm sure he's been working on that, and I'm sure he's going to be a lot smarter in the next fight, and he's just going to continue being a dog. I mean, it was I think it was only his second loss ever, so...
I mean, dude, I remember it was like I think the beginning of his pro career. Either it was the beginning or like he was gonna switch from amateur to pro, and I got to meet him in like the Gladstone location.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I go, you're David, and he was like, yeah.
Yeah, he's super nice.
And I'm like, you hurt people.
Yeah, very badly.
I was like, I've never had like, I've never gotten like starstruck around like. So, well, that's a lie. I did with the Karate Kid.
Yeah, of course.
It was very embarrassing. I think if there's ever like...
I guarantee you're not the first person that's ever done that to him, though, so...
Let me explain. I'll tell you what happened. So it's at Comic-Con. I'm in line. He's the first one I go to, and I'm waiting like 2.5, 3 hours, right? And I have like the VIP, so I'm like in front.
Yeah.
So like there's a bunch of other people, and there's still like 20 people in front of me. And I'm like thinking of what to say for 3 fucking hours. I'm getting up there. And as soon as I get up there, all that comes out was like, hey.
Nothing what you planned at all.
I just made a weird karate move, you know. And then he's like this. He goes, yeah, just the wax on. And I do the same thing. And then he goes, what do you want to say? And I go, I'm the young one, Karate Kid. And he goes, what? And I go, that's my dad. It like makes no coherent sense. I go, he's the big one. He showed me your movies and Cobra Kai. And he goes, I'm just going to put wax on, wax off.
Yeah.
And like just said that flat
comedy.
out.
He had it in his back pocket. I'm telling you, he's had that happen to him before. And he's like, all right, this is always my go-to. Wax on, wax off. Perfect. Works out.
And then he looked to his publisher person and goes, get this kid out. No, get this kid out of here.
I feel you, though, with like the going into the
gym
met
some high-profile people,
yeah,
too.
like whenever me and Josh and Blake went in, whenever Brandon Moreno just started training with Krause and them up there.
I would love.
Dude, it's crazy because like we're just like sitting where we normally do on the benches. Like, right, I'm getting my camera stuff ready and I'm just kind of scoping the room out. And shout out to those guys, you know, for always being so willing to let me come in and just like be on the mat with them in their space while they're working, you know, taking pictures and stuff. It's so dope. Something that they didn't have to do. And I always kind of felt bad because I'm like, I don't want to be too much in the way. Like, I want to get good shit, but this is how they make their money. I don't want to be in the way or hindering the way that they're training just because I'm in their face with a fucking camera. Yeah. It's not what I wanted to do. And I don't feel like I ever did, but anyways, we go in there and we're just like sitting there on the bench, and then in comes Marce Rojo and then Masio Fullen, which are his two like main training partners. Yeah. And then in comes Brandon Moreno, and it's like,
what is happening?
I was like, bro, you won the UFC flyweight championship.
You're the first Mexican champ.
So dope. And he just comes up to his fist bump and says, hey, what's up, guys?
He looks way bigger in pictures and video, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm like, 125?
Yeah. Like, he is big for 125, but he's still very small in stature. Yeah. What a killer, though. And it was cool. Like, the first day. My
favorite fight of all time is which is the one that so there was the first one where he won. Mm-hmm. Right. Okay. So there's 3.
Are you talking about the Figueiredo?
Yeah.
There's 4. He lost the first one.
Yep.
Or the first one was a draw.
Yes. It's the second fight.
Won the second one with the rear naked choke.
Choked him out.
Lost. I don't think he lost the third one, but he lost the third one.
Yeah. Same.
Then he won the fourth one.
Mm-hmm.
So that was
that
sweet.
Second fight, I was like, oh my! I was in my. We had at the time it was my apartment. We had a big living room. It was like open concept place, and we had like a shitty $200 projector.
Yeah.
And it was like the whole wall. And we like backed it way the fuck up. And I'm like, we're watching it. I'm like, oh my! The whole apartment shakes. Everyone's in there. They're like, this is insane. And you know, I'd only been to FAC before that, and I was way up in the
shits.
Yeah, but I didn't have to be. It was in COVID. It was all open. Like, there was like, this is how we're spacing it. And I'm like, my ticket says.
Yeah.
And then Mason Pello, he goes, no, there's floor seats down here. No one's here. And I go, I can just sit here? I go, what about security? They check this. They go, no. Yeah. And Mason walked in with us, and he goes, how's it going? He goes, you guys having a good night? Like, right to the security people. Yeah. I am not a good liar. And I'm just like, behind him, like trying not to look suspicious.
Don't look suspicious. Yeah.
Don't look suspicious. And then we finally get in there, sit down, and to be there that close and see something, I'm like, I see what it's about.
Yeah.
Because, you know, and most of them, like I said, they're an animal. Mason's an animal, but also the funniest dude I've ever met.
Like, it's interesting. And that's like another thing I love, you know, going back to like running social media for FAC is like you kind of get to see that switch flip for guys. Like Alan Olivas is a guy that I've been, you know, kind of following for a while, and we've built kind of a good relationship just like in the gym. Nothing like personal, but, you know, when we see each other, we know each other by name, and it's just like, hey, what's up kind of thing. But, you know, he, on the last FAC card, won the Bantamweight Championship.
Yeah,
his first belt as a pro, which is dope.
That's so cool.
So I get to see him, you know, in the gym. I remember he lost one fight, told Josh Byers, I'm not losing again. I'm going on a streak. And I think he's rattled off like 6 in a row since then. And then to see him,
holy shit.
Yeah, and then to see him
as
like
a pro.
Yeah.
That's big news. Like,
yeah.
hello.
No, he's an animal. And you know, just to see him kind of like get his moment to main event, finally break through, and then, you know, see him, you know, burst into tears at the end, and he's got his whole family in the crowd, and Zach Cummings is behind him waving the Mexican flag, and he's got his poncho on. It's fucking dope.
Dude.
Those are the type of moments, like, I get goosebumps thinking about that. And then and then it kind of just makes everything worth it, because I go backstage, and he, you know, me and him kind of have a moment where he's like, he looks at me, he goes, dude, I just want to, like, thank you so much, because, you know, all the media shit, you know, it really does make a difference for us. And and we really appreciate that. And it's just like, he's like, I just appreciate you, man. And then he like gave me a hug and we took a picture, and I was like, fuck, dude, like,
this is real shit.
Yeah, I was like, it's real, bro. Like, I'm making an impact in some way, you know, and you're doing the same thing. You're starting your thing, and you're starting to do the same thing for people, which is dope.
It's such a surreal feeling. And there's a part in, you know, cause I was watching, you know, Casey Neistat, who did every day he would do a video, and he did one recently, and he was doing this podcast where he was talking about like that time, and it was like a warning. He's like, it's fun, right, to do that, the same thing we're talking about, take nothing and then make something super cool for everybody. But he goes, I really don't remember most of those years, because every day I just wasn't really experiencing life. I was trying to make it happen in life, and you know, he's like, good. It's good to be present when you're doing things like this. So and I felt it, because I was like, okay, I got my camera, I'm checked in, I'm like, where's the shot? What am I going to do? This and that. Then I walk by the banner, and I see the DNC on it, and I see it on the cage. Then I see it in the corner, and I just like, this is surreal. Yeah. I have a table of 10 people who I've met through doing this, who are authentic people that I want there. You know, not like friends just to fill a table, you know? And I'm in this moment, and I'm like, holy, like, I could die happy right now. Yeah. You know, dear God, don't. And, you know, it's just that, like, it was just like one of those feelings where it's like, this is what's supposed to happen. Yeah, like that's the moment you work for, is like to get in a position like that. And you're going to have many of those, like, as you just continue to grow and keep doing your thing, you're going to have many of those moments. Yeah. And it is good that you already know that at this stage, to kind of just stay present and appreciate, you know, each time that you get the opportunity to do it, because you don't know when the last time that you'll be able to is. Yeah. Well, I think my kiddo actually gave that to me, because like I said, he's 9, so I was 16, right? He was he had when he was born, he had a 50-50 chance of survival. Yeah, that's crazy. Why? Where your diaphragm's at, his had developed very rapidly, because we had an ultrasound like a couple weeks prior. So in a matter of a couple weeks, as like in the 3rd trimester, like the last little bit, they wanted to do like check-ins like on his mom to make sure like he's doing well, like just to check, because she was like really big and there was lots of fluid. And so a sign of CDH is the mom makes a ton of protective fluid, like autonomously, to protect the baby that's not damaged, but, you know, has something going on. And so they usually now, with like their advanced screening now, this is 9 years ago, they can see it, and they can do this surgery in utero. So they, you know, she's out, and then they do it while he's still in there. That's crazy. Which is the craziest thing when I tell you what the surgery is. So your diaphragm has a hole. So the cells don't like go together. So it doesn't make a full diaphragm. That means everything down here comes up. Yeah. Because you're moving around in the water. Yeah, right? For sure. So his lungs never like fully grew. And so he came out, and then I didn't get to hold him. I didn't get to like cut the cord. It was not like a good easy birth. Yeah. And so the doctor goes, uh-oh. And then I go, I don't think you're supposed to say that.
Yeah.
And when he said, uh-oh, he just, like, cut the cord because he started turning a weird color, like blue and, like, purpley. And then he goes, and then that was it. And then next thing you know, he goes, nope. And he gives them to, like, the nurses. And then.
That's so scary.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Dude.
And then they start doing CPR. And I'm like, I mean, he was 5 pounds. She had literally like a balloon. It was too full and just went popped. It's hilarious on the way to there because it's at the state basketball game for our high school. Right? I'm in high school. Okay. We're at a state basketball game. It's in Spring Hill. And we're down there. We're surrounded by people. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh my gosh, the girls just finished playing. It's about to be the boys coming up. It's going to be a big deal. It's a good game.
It's about to be tight, yeah.
And then I just immediately feel something warm. And I go like this. I go, did I just pee myself? That was my first thought. I go, how did I not feel anything? And I look and I go, did your water break? And she goes, I think so.
Oh, just calm as hell, like nothing. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, so then we have to like scoot and boot because there's it doesn't like, I don't think it necessarily turns. I don't know how the body works, but like it just kept making more. So there's no way to like stop.
Yeah.
So then we have to do all that. Then we get there. He was born in 3.5 hours. So people are like, oh, 20 hours in labor. I'm like,
for sure.
No, it was just 3.5, and it was natural. And so what had happened is when because the doctor played football catch. So like, watching is like, here, young kids, you don't need to know this, so don't watch this. And it like, he comes out and he literally like a football catches him and goes like, then the uh-oh.
That's where the came from.
And then, because usually what comes out is like the placenta.
Mm-hmm.
Nope. So there was a rip where the cord attached and where the placenta was. So instead of being like in the middle, like that, it was like off to the side. So the stuff had reached through the sac, made a tear. So when she was contracting, it had cut it in half. So then all of that stayed inside, and then he shot out like a cannonball.
God damn, dude.
So she lost a lot of blood. He lost a lot of blood because the stuff in the cord went out. And then, like, it was a lot of stuff that I'm like, this was not in the health video.
Yeah, not at all.
I'm like, this is not.
Such a unique situation.
I was like, man, they're full of shit, man.
Yeah.
John Denver's full of shit. And, so then they take him to the CPR. And I'm watching this while she's passing out because she's lost so much blood. Can't get up, can't do anything because she's epidural. And so that's happening. She's passing out. They're checking on her. Is she okay? Chaos. And then they bring him back. In the picture, I have a complete album just of him.
Yeah.
For, moments when I'm be like, Madden, this was you.
Is he fine now, though? Is he, like, all good?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
So this is the picture, and I'll put it up there, too, of them bringing him back to life. And he's just this little... Dude. That's him. He's gasping because his lungs aren't operating correctly.
That is so scary.
And so if you notice, he's got a jacked chest.
Yeah,
and a puffy little belly.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing really there. It's all up in his lung cavity. And so once they did that, they sedated him. And then we didn't hear anything for a while. And I'm getting nervous. I walk out, and his primary care doctor's there, and she's crying.
Yeah.
And she walks in. I'm like, what's going on? And because his mom can't leave. Right, she lost a lot of blood, can't use her legs, she's numb. And so she comes in with like tears and goes, if he makes it through the night, they'll take him to Children's Mercy, and then they'll do a surgery the next day. And then, then it's a long recovery after that. And I've actually I can't believe I haven't told his story on here before.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And so when she said that, I'm like, wait, back up. If he makes it, she's like, yeah, it has a 50-50 shot because of how much, like, damage internally it does, to make sure he's fine. And so, of course, he made it through the night. They life flighted him out of there. His doctor, awesome, Dr. Iqbal, I'll remember you forever, because he was an Indian dude, and he was so calm. Like, there was nothing. He's like, I've done about 300 of these.
Gotta be.
Yeah, and he's like, it's no big deal. And we're like, yesterday it was a 50-50 shot for survival. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Calmed us all down, the whole family. And then, he was fine, but we were in there for like 3 or 4 months. And he went from 5 pounds to like 8. And they were like, yay.
Yeah.
I'm like, I was a 9.8 baby.
Yeah.
I was a chunky one.
Yeah,
right?
You're an offensive tackle.
I'm like, he's not the size of me as I was C-section. I was not coming out.
Yeah.
They were like, oh, we got to get him out. It's been 20 hours.
Yeah.
And so after that, they were like, it's good because they push everything back down and they do like a patch. And then they sew it into the diaphragm. And so he has little cuts like all around his body where they took like the cameras and the scopes. And so as he grows taller, it gets smaller and smaller. And so, I mean, he's running around, doing everything. They said as long as developed till you're 7. So he'll be fine. They'll just grow as he grows. And, yeah, there's no difference. They're just like, if there's a 30% re-herniation rate, like patch could come undone, it could happen. But you'll know now because it'll be really tough for him. He'll still be able to breathe because his lungs work, but it'll be like, it's weird.
Yeah, it'll be a weird
sensation. Yeah. Yeah. And so, you know, after all that, he's healthy, fine, and a genius.
Yeah. God, dude, that is so intense. I can't imagine being in the hospital and that happening.
I just turned. I think I was turned. Yeah, let's see. I might have been just 17 or like just turned 16. I can't remember. But because my favorite of all time. Thank you, Pale High School. All the students I went to school with. Yeah. Because I was like a really nice goody two shoes type. Like, oh, you go to church, don't you? Yeah. But you know, sex is nice. And I remember I took like health and baby health and this and that, which is just nothing but girls, and then me. So that's clue number 1. Okay, this rumor is not a rumor. He's learning how to take care of a baby in high school because he has one at home. And I remember walking in and they go, oh my gosh, and they surround around me. They go, you have sex? And I go, yes, yes, I do. And they were like, we wouldn't have guessed that. And I'm like, oh,
baby, you're so wrong.
And then one of the big assignments was, hey, you have to take this fake baby home that makes noises, right? Change it, do this, sensors, right? The whole 9 yards. And I looked at my teacher and I go, do I have to take this home?
Like, do I really have to motherfucking baby at home? Right?
That's what I said. I said, I had the real thing at the house. Do I have to take a fake baby and this baby? And she goes, no, I'll just give you an A.
That's tight. Shout out. I'm so glad everything worked out for him, though, man. That's got to be probably one of the most traumatic, scariest experiences of your life, I'd assume.
Yeah.
That's so nuts. Shout out to Madden, man.
Yeah. You know what?
You're here, buddy.
You'll come back.
Yeah, absolutely.
He'll be here. We after this, we'll get phone numbers. We got to hang out more.
Oh yeah, I'm down.
Straight up.
Yeah, we'll get something going for sure.
And I've showed it off a lot, but I have this 2 lightsabers over there. So when we get really bored, I'm like, they're like the expensive kind.
Yeah, okay, I'll have to swing one around here after this.
Oh hell yeah, I'm gonna record it. And so I think that whole event happened, and I'm like, really, that's like life isn't so easy. It's not doesn't happen correct all the way. You know, things could get by a car.
Yeah, anything
can happen.
Aren't you so glad that we don't have to give birth?
I'm so glad. I watched that thing. It's
so scary, dude. Pregnancy scares the absolute fuck out of me. I tell my girlfriend this all the time. I'm like, dude, whenever you get pregnant, I'm gonna be so fucking scared.
Yeah. Are you gonna watch? Like,
I probably have to, right? You have to.
It's part of the thing. I mean,
if she's gonna lay there and fucking push it out and be in pain for 9 months, I could at least stand there and watch it. You know, at the very minimum, I could just stand there, at least be there, be present. Unless I pass the fuck out, which may happen. I don't know. It's the least I could do.
I could at least be there.
At least just stand there and watch.
I can at least watch, I guess. I don't know.
I don't want to.
Like birth is normal to us because that's all that's known. You know what I mean? Like, if we did the old Superman route where they like make them and just leave them alone and like in their bubble, right? You'd be like, oh, that's normal. But you grow something from microscopic nothingness into a full baby.
Do they have a fucking thing growing inside of them?
And they're like, ow. I'm like,
I grew up a mama's boy, so I've always had like just so much respect and admiration for just like what women have to go through.
Yeah.
Just from like a young age, and dude, yeah, pregnancy's crazy. I wouldn't.
You know what? I think we were talking about fear earlier, right? We should show them what it's like. I would like to do so.
You want to spar? No, I'm playing. I'm joking.
All right, roll out the mats.
No, I'm joking.
Just like a team comes in.
I'm joking.
Roll out the mats. But no, I really like the experience part of life, right? And so now that I did this energy fight and I was there and I get to experience it myself, but then making something that's super cool for others to experience who haven't been there, I'm like, ooh, I love watching entertaining shit like that.
Yeah.
I thought of a perfect one for me and you.
What's up?
We should do the baby birth simulator.
Oh, fuck. I knew you were going to say it, dude. I knew it. My girlfriend was showing me this the other day. Yeah. I don't know. I'm not going to commit yet.
That's something I would want to try because I know I'm not afraid
That's
I'm not afraid to look foolish. Setting one.
I just don't want to be in pain. I don't care about how I look. I might shit my pants when I do it.
Yeah, you might.
I might shit myself, and I don't want to do that, and I don't want to feel the pain. I don't want to know.
I haven't seen that one in the videos, but yeah, it's a real thing. They do that. You're pushing, and it's like, yeah, that'd be really, really cool. But that's something else that, like, it's really hard to find people. We were talking about the dedication part, right? Like seeing a vision that's like 3 years in the making, but it has to happen now consistently.
Yeah.
And there's that part. But then all the stuff that I have, it's like makes it really tough because it's supposed to be in the moment experiences. But I have no one who does camera work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then when you have people who have like experience, it's different. So like when I first heard of you from Josh and Blake, I said, hey, you guys can use Rooted. Micah can be back here, right? That's right.
Yeah.
Right, Mike. Okay.
Yeah, correct.
I don't know.
You don't know my name this whole time? You had me off.
No. I knew it. I think Ray or someone said it differently.
Maybe, yeah.
And I'm like, I really hope that's the right way to say it.
Damn it, Ray. If it's Ray, ooh. I'm filming something with Ray on Friday for One Community. It's going to be dope.
What time?
5 or 6, I think. Maybe earlier than that. I don't know. Something like that.
Check in. I think there's something I'm meeting with him tomorrow for coffee. Because there's something that I want to do for him, which is he doesn't have any YouTube stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, I think if you have someone documenting.
That's what I told him. I was like, dude, make a YouTube channel. I was like, it'd be so cool. I just think what Ray's doing is so dope because my
best idea ever.
Yeah, because so my girlfriend works for Child Protective Services in Wyandotte, so around this area. So she does that for work. So I just hear like horror stories all day about just the shit that happens around here, and it sucks.
Yeah.
But it's also like it fits in with me because obviously it's like in the MMA space, it's jiu-jitsu. He's teaching something really dope, and he's doing it for like a good cause.
Yeah, tell me something that isn't more stable than consistent jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
And I told him too. I'm like, every dude thinks they can fight. Yeah. Till they walk into a gym
and they get wrapped into a pretzel by somebody half their size. Classic.
Yeah. I flipped a dude who was like 250, 6'5".
Nice.
An old buddy from school.
Subtle flex.
Yeah, it was just like butterfly hooks in, and I was like, watch this. I put one foot down, hip thrust up and over, and I'm in full mount completely. And he's like just in awe that little thing did it because he's actually bearing down weight. And I'm like, that works because I'm just holding you with my feet. And then I up and over. Yeah.
Consistency is the hardest part for me now. It was easy when I was in Springfield because I just like was going to school and then I would do that. But now that I have like a full-time job, it kind of sucks. I was doing some jiu-jitsu at Ignite with Zach. Kind of the same thing I was doing with Fight Club. Like I was doing shit for Synergy and then kind of just traded off or whatever. But I just couldn't be consistent for him, dude. And I didn't want to like take up. I felt like I was like taking up mat space by just if I show up once or twice a week. Yeah. I'm not really gonna get any better. There's somebody else.
You will. It's like if
but the gap already is so big between me and the guys that have been there for so long.
Understand
that it's like I'm never gonna be able to catch up.
Yeah.
That's at least the feeling of it. And I don't know. I just wanted to be kind of respectful of him and his gym and not just be kind of like a half-ass student. Like I didn't want to do that. If I wanted to do it, I was gonna do it full blown. But life just kind of gets in the way of that, and it sucks. Yeah, especially my job's just so all over the place. You never really know what day or time you're going to be working. So
yeah, okay. So you do the live work?
Yeah, live production.
Live production work. Yeah. So how did you get So did you graduate from the college?
Yeah. I graduated from OTC. Yep. And then actually through Blake, he was doing part-time work for the company that I work for, Platinum XP. We're located out of North Kansas City.
Platinum XP.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I actually saw them and heard of them.
Really?
I didn't put it together.
Yeah. No. Yeah. So I do video switching, kind of like directing events from the video side, and then I do some photography and videography stuff for them as well.
Nice.
But yeah, Blake kind of put me in contact with some guys, and I worked there part-time for a little bit, and eventually got hired full-time, and I've been there for about a year now. So
sweet.
Yeah, dude. It's been pretty dope.
I should have known. It looks really good.
Yeah.
You know.
Appreciate you. Yes, sir. Yeah, it's cool. It's cool at times. We do some really cool events for like local charities, and then there's some other cool events. Like we've done some events for like Sporting KC, so we've like met some of those guys, and then you know what Big Slick is?
Yes.
So yeah, so we did a little bit of stuff for them at Big Slick. I didn't get to meet anybody cool or anything, but it was just dope, like being a part of it.
Dude, that's the coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
Like, I said it like probably 2 months ago, but it was like just to demonstrate how like this isn't going anywhere. I'm like, I'm telling you, Patrick Mahomes will be on a show. I'll have him in here. You know what I mean?
That
like
would be sick.
It's so over. I'm like, it could be 30 years from now.
Yeah.
You know, you never know. It's just like
it's very possible.
That's like the ultimate top tier thing to do.
Patty
and
M's.
I'm like, yeah, and then I'm like, what is he involved in that I could get involved in? That's also something up my wheelhouse. And so I was like, I love I hated it, but I love soccer, in-person soccer. I can't watch it on TV. Sorry. And the guys, no, thank you. Like I've seen Sporting KC.
I've never been to a sporting game.
It's cool. Like, it was the first one I ever went to. But then I went to a KC Current game.
It's so fun, I bet.
Oh, it was the best. I was like, like, I'm having the best time of my life. And they, like, my sister would do the UMKC girls, like, she would do, like, cheer, dance team stuff.
Yeah.
So we watch, and then she'd do halftime, and then we watch the other half of the game. And we watched the girls, and then when the boys showed up, we would just leave.
Yeah.
Because I hated it. It's like trying to be like, I got hit in the shin, you know, really faking. These girls go ham.
Oh, yeah. I don't know exactly if this is true or not. I'm pretty sure, though. Do you know Josh's sister plays for KC Current?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like,
yeah, I was about to
hey.
say, yeah, that's pretty cool.
I think I sent a message. I was like, Josh, if you're noticed, I was like, that'd be a cool, like, in to have, you know, and I understand completely that. So I told my sister, I was like, hey, could you run some social media stuff? Because I bet it would feel better if they watch this, because it's tough to get women in here. Yeah. Into a studio they'd never been to.
With a guy they'd never met.
Yeah. And I'm like,
understandable. You know, and Wyandotte, kind of. You know?
Yeah. So it's like, I understand how it's an iffy thing, but I'll get there. It's just, I know the dynamic of men and women. Like, my sister, we went to Home Depot. I had to grab some stuff. I'm making like some shelves and shit. And so I got all the wood, everything, and I walk out, and I left the door open, right? Like just my door. No keys, and I have the keys. And I put the cart away, come in, she goes, just so you know, it's probably not good that you left the door open, like where we're at, this and that. And she starts going through scenarios, and I go, you know, I have a very different walk of life than a female. Yeah. Like, absolutely. You have to watch everything. And I'm like, that sounds exhausting. And I'm like, that makes sense that, like, unless you're Joe Rogan asking. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like, this guy's coming up, maybe later, you know. Yeah. And so, I had a guy. He was like, I love your show. This is exactly what he goes, I love your show. He goes, it's a sausage fest, though. I'm dead. And I was like, I cannot explain this dynamic. It's tough. Yeah. Because, you know, it's different if, like, I'm showing me, but you still don't know me.
So that's something we actually never got to do with Rooted that I wish we would have done, is get, like, a female MMA fighter, or, like, just kind of getting that perspective of it being such, like, a male-dominated sport. Yeah. To be in a gym like that would be crazy.
Well, and we were at the Synergy, and Julie was there. Yeah. And I was like, you know, people at the table, they're like, go, you should see if she'll come on. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that's a good idea.
She probably would.
Yeah. And so it's like, you know, so I was, another part of having my sister is like, yeah, we get to talk about stuff that's really vulnerable and we have no problem, right? Like talking about mental illness, like how we went, you know, therapy, how this worked, how that didn't. Oh, medicine actually helped, you know, this kind of thing, and just be open about it. But, you know, I was hoping that would also show that, like, it's not going to be a weird thing.
Yeah.
If like
it definitely wouldn't be. If there's any women out here watching this, Chase is a great guy, and you're in safe hands when you're in here. So come in here and get some podcast work in.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, sir. Endorsement.
Bing, 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 bing. Oh my gosh, it works immediately. But I wanted to get back to the Rooted thing because Josh and Blake had no idea of the impact it had.
Yeah.
While you guys were doing it.
Kind of crazy, right?
Did you see, like, you were obviously behind it doing it.
I knew just from the guys at the gym because they would always get so pumped whenever we'd show up because they're like, oh, fuck, I'm getting some content today. Yeah. Or like, I'm getting some dope pictures or something like that. Yeah. I didn't really understand the outreach of it past that, though. Like, I knew the guys in the gym understood it and appreciated it, but I didn't really think about having fans or anything or like people that were outside of that were listening or outside of that world that were listening.
I think that's why, successful stuff actually happens.
Yeah.
I don't think it lasts very long. Like, I don't think Joe Rogan would be here if it wasn't like, hey, no one watched for 8 years, and then suddenly for whatever reason, podcast became the biggest thing ever. And then
he was already 8 years deep into that shit.
Yeah, he was already at the top of the game. And so he was like, I just like to do it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, the whole thing was like, my worst fear, to be completely honest, right, is being known for something like this. Like in a public space. I just enjoy having the conversation so much that I want to share it.
Yeah.
That's it. I still want to be able to go to Costco.
Yeah.
I don't want to be like, oh my gosh. Because, like, not to be a cocky asshole, but like I know that this, based on people talking about it and people messaging and commenting, that it's professional enough that it would be top tier. Yeah. And it's fun to watch for them. And so I know that eventually that's going to be a thing I'll have to deal with. Yeah. So like when I go to Costco, I'm literally like, you don't know who I am. Yeah. And just walking through, like thinking about it, and I'm like, cool. Yeah. Like it just wasn't a thing. I didn't care about money. I didn't care about being famous. It was like I'm secure enough just to be able to have a conversation. Yeah. And do it so well that like, people come in like I just met you today. Yeah. I don't think we haven't messaged or anything.
A couple times here and there, but yeah, nothing crazy.
Nothing like, like we wouldn't have established a repertoire before this. Yeah. We're doing it right now.
Yeah. Live and direct.
And then I'm like, here's my phone number, dude. Like, yeah let's get dinner. It'd just be anything. And so in doing that, that's all I really care about is having people that actually have the same core values and the same like thinking and drive and whatnot. And, just finding whatever it is that they have and then going all out.
That's the same thing with me, man. I just wanted to I feel like the MMA thing in Kansas City when it started at Glory was like such a unique thing in Kansas City that wasn't getting talked about. And it's just like it kind of just like flew under the radar for the longest time. But then you realize you have guys like Krause that are there. Austin Ford is an amazing coach. Tim Elliott's here. Yeah. That sort of thing. And it's just like these guys are here and nobody knows about it. Yeah. And it's fucking dope. And, you want to immerse yourself in that and be a part of it and help them grow any way that you can. And then kind of just see where it goes from there, right?
Yeah. Well, I was shocked that they said, I don't know, it had that big of an impact. Yeah. And I was like, really? I go, every person, because, I mean, I might as well just hit Blake with a 2x4 in the face. Yeah. Because I was like, no, every guy I've had in here said, do you know Rooted? Do you know Blake? Do you know Josh? We know Micah. He took our pictures. Yeah. Everybody. And I'm like, I saw them. I didn't know that they haven't done it in a while. They go, yeah, we still like it. Like, we're waiting. And I'm like, great. If I had them in, I said, if you guys want to do it, use the studio. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And
I don't think we're completely done. I think it's just like Blake kind of explained it and Josh explained it too. We just like kind of all three at the same time just kind of had things in our life happen that kind of threw off our schedule that we had. So it's like hard to get back on track, and then it's hard to be consistent that way. And then, I mean, I don't think we're done though. I think we'll still continue to pump shit out, especially with me and Josh being there, at every fight night. He's fucking killing it with the commentary at Synergy, and I hope he gets an opportunity to do FAC because he's really talented, man, and he's gonna do big things in the MMA space if he stays with it. So that's my guy, and I believe in him.
I called him the Manila folder of MMA information. Yeah. It's so fast.
Because he takes the time. It doesn't matter, if you're the biggest name. Like, Josh is going to do his research, and he's going to respect you whether you're the best guy or whether you're the first guy on the card. Like, Josh has that much respect for people in the game, and it's, I do too. And I don't know. Josh is just one of those guys that if he just sticks with it. I mean, Josh Byers just sounds like a name of a commentator, right? He just has like kind of a commentator name. He's got
John
the face.
Anik and Josh Byers.
Yeah, exactly. And then he fucking, no matter what he's doing, even if he's just helping me with FAC running the Facebook page, he's got a fucking blazer on, dude.
Oh,
How sick is that?
Sharp.
That's what I'm saying. I was like, he's dope.
It's like, nice. I went up there, got some shots of him and Justin doing it. And then something that's really cool with the MMA community and the organizations is like, I got to know Chris, and I've been at the gym with Zach. And so getting both of them, they were like, we love having you a part of this thing. Like, we're so happy to. And then they offered, like, it was their boxing event. Yeah. I did commentary with Jeremy.
Yeah, that's dope. I saw that you did that. That's what's up.
It was the funnest.
How was that?
It's so fun, dude. I mean.
Was it nerve-wracking?
At first, and then we did like a run through, like the intro. And I was like,
you got like your ad reads and that sort of thing?
It's like this. It's really just like this. And, because it was, those Fairfax gloves is because I did shoot box. So I did kickboxing and then Muay Thai. So I was like, okay, I have that, and I have basic understanding of positions in most MMA transitions. Yeah. Perfect. So this was just hands and legs. Yeah. And then I called two things. I called the knee, right, of when, do you see Trisham's KO? Yeah.
Easy dub.
That was in front of me, dude.
And that's sick.
It sounded like me and you just like I said, hit 2x4s. Like, it was a hard smack. Yeah. And he went backwards, and his head and hands were like right here on the ropes. And I'm like, that's all I could say. And I was like, I can't freak out like I'm an audience member. Yeah. And I go, that was a beautiful knee.
And then your mind, you're like, what the fuck? That was crazy.
Because 10 seconds prior, I said, he's really ducking down. Yeah. He really needs to kind of keep it up and keep it more tight. And sure enough, he went to duck, and he goes, pop, and it just hit it perfect.
You don't see that a lot, though. Like, even on the regional scene, like, you don't see a lot of people getting KO'd with knees or anything like that.
Yeah. I mean, thank goodness that, like, he read that, of course, and got that awesome. He was on the news too.
Yeah, that's what's up. That's dope. Dude,
but like,
he's got such a good frame for MMA too. He's so big. He's so tall and long. He's just got like the perfect frame for that.
I remember he came in the gym, and I had a buddy. I was like, hey, come try it out. It's really cool. And Trisham walks by, and I go, what's up, dude? And we like got to talking a little bit. This is before any of this was a thing. I was just training, and my buddy looked and goes, you know that guy? And I go, yeah, I've seen that cross tattoo coming at me from across the room because he's so long. Yeah. And we just started dying laughing. And I'm like, yeah, that's...
I've never actually met him.
For real?
Yeah, I've never talked to him.
Oh, he's the best.
Yeah, he seems cool, though. Seems like a good guy.
He's like a very, he's definitely not mild-mannered in the cage. Yeah. But like here, it's like very calm, very relaxed.
That's most MMA fighters, though, right? Yeah. They're the nicest people in the world.
And I think it's
they
just
know they can kill you.
Yeah. I was talking to Ray, and I'm like, yeah, it's very humbling when the lights are coming in and you tap to something, and then you come back to earth. Yep. I'm like, if they held it,
takes a minute.
You could be dead.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's the most interesting thing about MMA to me that I always say is like, you take the referee out of it, and it's like literally whoever wins the fight, unless it goes to decision. If you get choked out or if you get knocked out, you died. Yeah. If the referee's not there, they could kill you.
Oh, dude, that's a perfect analogy.
And it's the craziest thing to me because I'm like, bro, it's literally like, it's the most like what I said at the beginning. It's the most primal, intense, and there's something romantic about it, bro. I don't know what it is, yes, but something that it's just like, dude, if the referee wasn't there, thank God that he is, because obviously you don't want fucking people to get killed. But
yeah, this isn't Gladiator.
It's just like the furthest thing. It's the closest thing to like war that you can do legally, and it's crazy.
Yeah, like I said, we saw in Synergy. Did you see any of the highlights from that?
Oh yeah, I saw the dude get slam KO'd. That was crazy.
We were right there. He didn't move for about 2-3 minutes. So it was excitement for about 10 seconds. Then immediate panic.
Dude, how good of a job does Chris Gregory do matchmaking though?
Perfect.
Dude, every time they put a card together, I'm like, dude, he's fucking killing it. Cause it's like that's another cool thing. It's like once you start to follow and be a part of something like Synergy and FAC is the same way. It's like, you start to, you see these guys fight multiple times. So you start to know the backstory. Like, oh, I remember he fought this dude and it was fucking crazy. And then I remember the guy he's fighting fought this dude and that was fucking crazy. So this fight's about to be fucking bananas. Because,
it'd be crazy. How'd they match this up? Oh,
my
gosh.
Yeah. No, they kill it, though, dude. They know how to make some matches. My boy Dalen Loonsfoot in Springfield, I remember he fought Mason for the belt.
Josh was talking about that. He was so excited for that one.
Yeah. I mean, that's just such a good matchup because you get two of the. I mean, Dalen's another one of those guys that has just like a perfect frame. For MMA.
He was big.
Mm-hmm.
Like
he's huge.
And
he's not skinny either.
No, and by any means, no. And Mason isn't either.
Mm-mm.
I've been manhandled by Mason, and I've gotten so mad that I'm like, I don't know any of this stuff.
Yeah.
You have to show me.
Yeah.
And he's like, dude, I'll show you.
Yeah.
And we spent like 20 minutes doing it in like live rounds.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh. Like there's not this vibrato of like I'm better than you, but it's like no, I'll show you everything.
Yeah.
And Josh was talking about both of them, and he like a Manila folder. He just had everything from start to finish.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, you really. He goes, I'm excited.
In Springfield, I don't know if Dalen had trained before I had gotten there, but I remember what I think was his first day of training ever. And just seeing where he started from all the way up to where he is now, and he's like dyeing his hair like Charles Oliveira.
Yeah.
It's just like, bro, this dude's a killer.
What do you mean? Like, did he start with zero background?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I don't know. I remember whenever I was training in Springfield at Fight Club, I remember I was there for a while and I hadn't seen him. And then one day he just kind of shows up and then he jumps in the mix and he's like one of the guys that are like fighting and shit. Now I'm like, damn, this dude's like, got the perfect build for it. He's athletic as hell. He's got a great mindset for it. He's an awesome dude.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, dude, it's crazy to see like kind of him from the start to where he is now. Now he's wearing a strap, and he has like a legitimate shot at like going pro and like changing his life that way, and that's dope.
Insane. And that was something that I was there for that fight, and
shout out to you, Dalen.
Yeah, I mean, amazing job because I know Mason, and it took me at least, I think it was like intermission or they were going to a next one, it was taking a little longer. But I was sitting there so close that it was like I felt like I had lost. Because you're so close to these guys.
Yep.
And I was like, it's like a blanket. And I'm like, get the fuck off me. Like I can't shake this feeling of, what is going on? I don't know. And so that was my first like experience with that too. But yeah, I know that Josh was excited for it. He got to talk, call it, and he's like, oh man. And I saw him again at Synergy, and I was like. Just like old friends.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey.
Shout out to Mason, too, dude. Mason's a fucking savage. I've been in there a few times watching him train, and he's just as crazy in the gym as he is when he fights.
Just as crazy. Thank you.
He goes just as hard, dude. And I love that. I love a guy like that kind of wears it all on his sleeve and will leave it all out there. That's the kind of fight. That's my kind of fighter, is a guy that doesn't leave anything in the cage. He's not reserved at all when he gets in there. He fucking goes in there and he goes after it fully. Yeah. That's the kind of fighter I like.
My favorite memory is I just started training. And he had just fought, and I watched the highlight, and the first 3 seconds runs across to the dude, hits him perfect. The dude drops, bounces off the cage, then shows up back on earth.
Yeah.
And goes, whoa. He broke I think the little bone. And I think fractured the one here, or both. I can't remember. And kept using that same hand.
Yeah.
Because he was right-handed for three full rounds.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And then I was like, what did it feel like? And I didn't know that until I walked in, and he's all casted up, and he's like, can't train. I'm just like bummed about it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the fuck happened? You just fought. And he goes, I know, I broke these. He's like, it didn't like hurt.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what did it feel like? He goes, like my wraps came up. And I'm like, that doesn't happen. He goes, no, it's not. No, not even never. And he's like, well, I just kept going, and he won.
Yeah.
And I'm just looking at him, and I go, that's when I nicknamed him the Animal.
Yeah, I remember. It was like one of the first times. It's whenever Synergy had rebranded to Synergy, and it was like one of the first shows that they were putting on, and I was doing some video stuff for them in my work studio, and Mason was one of the guys that we had come in. And I just remember meeting him there and then him telling me the first day I met him, he was like, dude, I'm going to run across the cage and I'm going to fucking try to flying knee this dude in the face. And I was like, what? I was like, what, bro? I was like, are you serious?
You animal.
Yeah. And I can't remember if he tried it or not, but I think that same fight, the part that I remember the most is him kind of like the dude's on his back and he's kind of like trying to keep him away with his feet.
Yeah.
And Mason's like, he's kind of having trouble getting inside because this dude's kind of just pushing him away with his feet. And then Mason's like, all right, fuck it. So he jumps.
Oh, that was the one.
Have you seen this before? And he jumps down.
I was at the tables right there.
He jumps in the air and does a fucking diving punch. I was like, that's sick.
And then he goes, you know what? Let's do it again.
Yeah.
Did it a second time.
Uh-huh.
And
it was like the end of the third round too. So both dudes were just dog ass tired, and he's like, oh, okay, fuck, I'm just gonna do it now.
I'm just gonna go on that 10 seconds.
Yeah. And then I think that's when he got his double straps.
Yep.
That's what's up.
And he's got he does it because he loves it so much. Mm-hmm. And when he came in, before we were talking, he brought in the belts. It was me, him, and Luna. And before any of this looked like this, it was just lights on. It wasn't really. I just wanted to get going, And he told me straight up. He goes, "You can keep it." I go, "Keep what?" He goes, "The belt."
No way.
Yeah, and I go, "What? You do what with it?" He goes, "Hang it up. It'll look nice." And I'm like,
"Did you do it?"
Yeah. He took it back because he needed it for the pictures.
Yeah, for sure.
But it was in here for like 2 months straight, just on the wall over there.
That's tight.
And I'm like, being a jerk, I'd wear it around here. Be like,
yeah.
I carry it to my car. Be like, yeah, that's what's up. I'm obviously 185.
I'm the chump.
I'm 170.
Yeah.
Definitely not. I think I'm 147.
Yeah.
But no, just a really good dude. And he said it was like poison. He goes, if I look at it too long, I get comfortable being just the amateur with the strap.
Yeah. See, because I remember him kind of saying something like that before or after he had fought Dalen and lost. He was saying that he just like didn't really take it as serious. He didn't take that fight as serious just because he kind of was walking around with both belts like I'm the man.
Yeah.
So, and then he kind of just ran into a guy that was willing to take it.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, you need that.
Oh yeah. And Mason's gonna be. Mason's gonna be around. He's gonna keep murking dudes, and his career's gonna be dope.
Yeah. I mean, he deserves it. Yeah. And they all do. I'm going to be honest with you. I do not know when that one stops.
Oh, okay.
I think it's like an hour, 24 minutes. And then I might have to hit it again.
Okay.
Yours is going for like 3 hours. I don't know why that one's 3 hours. This one's different cameras probably. But anyway, I was going to say if anything you want to end on? Like anything that you got going on?
I mean, I'm hoping to continue doing my MMA media stuff. I want to keep doing that. I want to get into the gym with Zach and those guys at Ignite, and I want to do some more stuff with Trey up at Marathon. But I'm also trying to get into some like real estate type stuff. Like I just bought a drone, so I'm starting to do some shit with the drone. So I'm trying to kind of get into more spaces with my video editing stuff and photography, and kind of make more money that way, and hopefully be free.
Well, that's when you start getting into like corporate money.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You made a video for us,
mm-hmm.
and they're like, "Great, here's a check for $5,000."
Yeah.
You were like, "What?" You're like, "What?" And working at a big, commercial real estate third-party engineering firm.
Yeah.
It's like they really don't bat an eye at stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
They can.
That's what I'm saying. Commercial work is like if they're making fucking millions of dollars, what's $1,500 here and there.
Yeah. They're like, "Oh, you for the whole month, you have 4 videos.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, $20,000."
Yeah.
Like, hold on.
Yeah.
You're like, you're gonna pay me like a year. What is it? Like half of the family income in America.
Yeah.
For this 4 things that I shot with a drone.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like.
But that's what you get. That's the tools of the trade. You have a skill. You gotta charge for it.
Yeah.
Can't work for free forever. You gotta start that way, but you can't do it forever, man.
Right.
But other than that, I just want to thank you obviously for having me over.
Thanks for coming, man.
The podcast is dope. I love what you're doing. Shout out my boy Josh Byers. Shout out Blake Schneiders, my Rooted MMA guys. Shout out Trey and all the guys at Marathon. Shout out Zach, all the guys at Ignite. Shout out Nate and all my guys in Springfield. I love you guys. Keep grinding. And we're going to continue doing this thing. It's going to be dope.
Damn, you're a pro.
Yeah.
Do you do this or something?
No. I've actually, this is the first time I've ever been on a podcast.
Are you serious?
Like I guess I did one. I did one. I filled in for Blake one time when we interviewed Ryan Leininger. Whenever he was in KC, but other than that, I'm just been kind of behind the scenes a little bit.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate you.
I had a great time. You have a good time?
Yeah, it was dope. I'm gonna do it again.
I'm gonna swing lightsabers.
And I wanted to say,
never mind.
I do want to do the fight companion shit. To kind of kind of watch fights. I think that would be so dope.
I just ordered the projector
because I love like in the moment watching fights and just like kind of calling shit out as I'm seeing it and just kind of being in the moment and getting those reactions. Because I'm a very like. expressive fan whenever I'm watching. I'm like on the edge of my seat, like, fuck, dude, this is crazy.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Get the butterflies in your stomach kind of thing. It's just dope.
If you watch when I had him at the apartment, I had ESPN Plus, so it was every weekend.
Yeah.
And at a certain point, it was just me and my buddy because everyone else hated it because we were so into it. No, don't stop. Don't let him trap it.
Ooh, come on. Ooh, fuck, that's tight. Oh God, yeah, that kind of shit.
Yeah, and they're like this. And then other dudes, they bring their girlfriends. They just want to like hang out, drink a little.
You're like, why are you watching this? This is so fucking stupid. They're just punching each other in the face. I don't get this. Why are they wrestling on the floor? It's like, all right.
You're like, I don't get why you're talking. Shut it.
Shut
it down.
You can watch one round with somebody and tell what kind of fan they are.
Yeah.
That's just how it is.
Is this Connor's fight?
Yeah. Is this the McNuggets? Is that his name? Connor McNuggets, right? No.
I love him.
Yeah.
But no. Thanks for coming in, Mike.
Yes, sir, bro. It was dope. Thank you for having me.
You're coming back then?
Yes. Yeah, we'll be back. We'll be back.
Cool,
we'll make our rounds.
Yes, sir.
All right, man. Dope.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thanks, y'all.
Shoo.
See ya. Oh, you did a show.